Good evening, Zambia. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're watching us and depending where you are joining us this evening's hour. This is TV Wakwetu, and this is Thursday Night Motivation with Frank Saliki. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you've all had a wonderful, wonderful week so far in everything that you are doing. If you can just let me know in the comment where you are joining from this evening. Where are you joining us this evening? Where are you watching us this evening? And just tell us where you are. It's on Thursday night in TV Wakwetu, we do a Thursday night motivation for those who are joining for the first time. Our Facebook, our friends on Facebook, our friends on YouTube, our friends on Twitter. Welcome to TV Wakwetu. It's interesting when we look at life in a lot of other ways. And today I just sat there and I reflected on a lot of things. My latest book, Finding Your Voice, it's published. It is on sale on Amazon. You can find, if you just type in my name, Frank Saliki, into Amazon, you will find the copy of Finding Your Voice. You will also find a copy of my first book. Arise and shine. So it's so important in everything that we do to understand that we've all got a mission on earth to do something. Some of us don't even get to realize our true potential. We don't even realize our talents. We never really explore to see where our talents can take us, to see what we can achieve. For me, for so long, I never believed I could do anything great. I never believed I could do anything special. I was bullied from day one of primary school. I was picked on. People made songs about me. My grade one teacher made songs about me. And I never believed I could do what I do today. To even think about, I go to work, I love the job I do, I help so many people, I've coached so many people to change their lives. And I could not have dreamed I could be doing the things that I do today. And that's why I am so motivated and so inspired to help as many people transform their lives. And really to realize their potential, to realize what they can do, to realize they can do more, they can achieve more because they can be more. It's not where you've come from that matters, it's where you decide you're going to go that is going to determine your life. It's not what happens to you that will dictate your future, it's how you respond to what happens to you that will determine where you're going to go in your life. If you can just let me know. It's Frank Saliki TV Wakwetu, Thursday Night Motivation. Let me know where you're joining us from. Let me know what goals you have in your life. Let me know what you want to be in the next 5 years. Just comment on that. It's important we have goals. You can't make it as a wandering generality. You have to become a meaningful specific to be a success. This brings us to this evening's topic. And this evening I picked a topic and says it's not your resources that is going to determine your success. It's about how resourceful you are. Have you ever wondered why is it that certain people who grew up with certain privileges in their lives, they've had all the riches, the parents had all the financial resources, they've not become successful? And why is it that a man who grew up really poor, that their father was a kamalasha, their mother was selling to tepakona, but that man has come, that woman has come and become something out of their lives? Why is it different? Why is it that the people who seem to have all the privileges are not being successful, and the people who seem to have lacking in a lot of areas are successful, and they're doing all these wonderful things in their lives? So these are the things I want to explore. When I speak to a lot of my Zambian friends, they talk about one thing: resources. I want to do this, but I haven't got the resources. I want to go in that area, but I haven't got the resources. I want to do that, I haven't got the resources. The starting point of any dream should always start with what you've got. Should always start with what we've got. So many people don't dream simply because their starting point reminds them of what they don't have. And if you have a constant reminder of the things that are missing in your life, you're never going to do what it takes to take your life to the next level. Why? Because what we focus on determines how we're going to feel, and how we're going to feel determines the actions that we're going to take. So if I'm focusing on the things that are missing, what actions am I going to take? I'm not going to do what it takes. I'm not going to do what needs to be done, because I'll be focusing constantly on what is missing in my life. What is missing in my life? So if you're focusing so much on what is missing in your life, you don't do what you need to do. If you're focusing on what you can do despite what is going in your life, what's going on in your life, that's being resourceful. What can I do despite what is going on around here? A friend of mine from back in Zambia said, I want to go. I want to go to school, but I haven't got any money. Can you send me some money? Now, if I sent money to everybody who asked me for money back home, I will have no money left. That's just a fact. So he said, I've got no money. I said to him, what can you do to gain that money? It was not the response he wanted. So I didn't get a message for 2 days. Then he replied and said, what about that money? So I asked him the question again. I said, last time I asked you a question, what can you do to earn that money? He didn't like that very much. Then we explored the options. You can do this and the other. You can do piecework. You can do that and the other. Is there a car wash where you live? No, you can start a car wash. Neighbor started letting him go. He was going around people's houses, knocking the houses, asking them if he can wash their cars, and people started paying him for that. What was he doing? He was being resourceful. There's a skill that we have. We have to ask ourselves this question. Have I got a skill that other people need? When I made a decision to become a motivation speaker, the question I had to ask myself is there something that people need? Is there something that is missing that I can be an expert in? Is there something that a lot of motivation speakers don't talk about, and I can go and I can become an expert in that area and cut myself a niche in that particular market? Is there something that I can do that is missing out there? Is there something in my society that's not there that is missing? If we think about big organization, think about this big organizations. I'll give you big organizations like Apple, big organization like Amazon. These companies earn billions in turnover. One thing that they do is actually finding out what other people need. That other people need, they do, but they did not even realize they needed them. Now we can't even do that Amazon. Now we can't even do without a lot of people have got iPhones, a lot of people have got mobile phones. They solved the problem that a lot of people didn't even think existed. It wasn't a problem a few years ago, but we've all got these now. We all got mobile phones because they solved the problem. They literally solved a problem we never thought we existed. These companies were resourceful. Nobody came and gave them, this is what you need to do, this is what we want, this is what the customers want. They were being resourceful in the things that they were doing. And because they were being resourceful, they were able to come up with these big ideas. Now, you might be saying you're comparing yourself. Well, how can you compare a life to Apple or Amazon or anything else? The example, my friends, I'm giving is the fact that so many people don't understand what they can do when it comes to changing their lives. So many people don't understand the power to change in their lives lies within them. There's nobody out there who's going to come to change your life. And that's why things never change in your life, because everybody's waiting for this big miracle to happen that's going to transform our lives. And we get so many people now, us as Africans, we've got this tendency to think somebody is going to come and solve the problem, but we never ask ourselves, what can I do to solve the problem? What can I do to be part of the solution? What can I do to ensure that I'm able to contribute to the growth of my country? What can I do to ensure that in the next 10 years, I'm living a comfortable life? What can I start today? The things I do today, I did not start tomorrow. We've got this thing about instant gratification. We want it now. I want success, but I want it now. No, you can't have the harvest without doing the hard work. if you went to Kumabala Milo, if you went to Kumabala Milo and say, I've come to harvest some sweet potato, and somebody come and ask you, say, have you planted the said sweet potatoes? And you say, no, I haven't planted, but I haven't planted any. There's nothing in the ground, but I think I can harvest some. But when it comes to success, people want to harvest success without planting anything. People want to success without being resourceful. Now, why I made a comparison at the beginning of somebody who's grown up in a rich family but still ends up poor as an adult is the fact that they might have the resources, but they were not resourceful. And as long as they're not resourceful, they lose the wealth that they have, or the wealth that they've been born with. And somebody who was born with nothing, but because they become resourceful, because they become the people who find solutions, they become successful. And what do people call them? An overnight success. It's not what you're born with that determines your success. It's not about it's not about the wealth you're born in. It's about what you do with your talents. What can you do that other people can't do? What does your talent allow you to do? How can you develop your life? How can you change your life? How can you become the very, very best that you can? These are the things that are going to transform your life. These are the things that are going to inspire you to take you to the next level. It's not all about have I got enough resources? Listen, it's not resources. Resources, yes, it's nice when you've got resources. It's nice when you've got these resources to be able to go and buy things. It's nice when you go to university and there's money for you to buy things. It's nice. It's easy. It makes life a little bit easy, doesn't it? It does. We can't ignore the fact. But then what happens when you haven't got these things are the things that are going to determine whether your life is going to be a success or a flop. I saw an article that a few months ago, about a month or so ago, of a man who was cycling from Kafue to Lusaka and waking up at 5 o'clock every morning so that he can attend lectures. Now, everybody looked at that story, and yes, it's a little bit sad and think you haven't got resources, you haven't got money for the bus. But the fact that he did not have money for the bus, that did not say, you know what, I can't study. He still wanted to study. You know what? Your determination to do anything in your life is what is going to affect your success in this life. It's not what we don't have. It's not what we don't have. It's how resourceful we are. The question I always ask people is, how strong is your desire to transform your life? How strong is your desire to transform your life? Are you going to transform your life? Are you going to do better? Are you going to improve? Are you going to study? Are you going to find places where to study? If you were determined, you're going to do it. Remember when we're writing our grade 7 exams, I'm sure you remember those gateway to grade 7. I think there was one gateway between, if I can think right, about 11, 12 of us in our street in Yarrow Avenue. With this gateway to grade 7, we used to borrow it. You go, you knock on someone's house, you just say, Joshmako gateway there. You go to read it. The next day you send it back, or if somebody else says, can I have it? And you pass it to somebody else. Everybody does. That was resourceful. But the older we get, we forget how we can be resourceful. We start focusing on the things that are missing. We are better than that. We can do more because we can become more. Listen, we can become more because we can do more. We can achieve more if we do more. We can say to ourselves, you know what, we may not have the resources now, but let's be resourceful enough so that we can have resources in the future. Somebody going to university and they're poor and they're having to work every day and go to lectures. They're being resourceful because that's a way to survive. They might not have the resources now, but the day is coming when they will have the resources because they were resourceful. When I first was about to publish my book, Arise and Shine, I didn't have any money to publish this. I had a manuscript on my computer, but I didn't have money to. For a lot of people, that would have been a whole thing to say, well, I can't start writing because I haven't got the money to. One thing I understood is the money's going to come the other way. The first thing I had to do was write and be resourceful to get the money. And that's exactly what I did. And I was able to publish this book. And because I was able to publish this book, I'm able to publish a second one. And because I'm able to publish a second one, guess what? There's a finished manuscript on my computer right now of the third one. Because I made a step to say, I'm going to be resourceful and I'm going to give myself a chance. And I always say to people, so many people kill their dreams. So many people kill their dreams. Give your dreams a chance. There's so many people who tell us what we can do, what we cannot do, what we can achieve. Don't be the man or woman who talks about what you can do. Don't be a man or a woman who's always focusing on the things that they can do. Don't be the man or a woman who kills their own dream. This evening, I'm saying to you, give your dream a chance. Don't kill it. The difficulties that you're going through, have not come to stay. They've come to pass. But here's the thing, you don't do anything about it, they will stay. They will stay. If you don't do anything about it, they will stay. Sometimes difficulties are like a jungle. If a village doesn't do anything about it, what happens? The jungle overtakes a village, and before long, it's just going to be full of jungle. And you're going to be asking yourself, where's that village over there? Because it's been covered by jungle, because the villagers didn't do anything about it. And when it comes to our lives, so many people talk about how difficult life is, but they don't do anything about it. For me, that is my biggest pet hate. That's my biggest pet hate. When people talk about how difficult things are, when people talk about what is missing in their lives, when people talk about how they're suffering, when people talk about the things that are missing, but they don't do anything about it to change it. Nothing changes until you change it. If you want success, you have to go and do some successful activities. If you want to be reaping success in the next 5 years, you have to start today. And I have to remind you, my friend, every result that you're getting right now is as a result of the actions that you have taken over the last 5 years. Why? We don't get in life what we want. We get in life what we do on a consistent basis. Our results always mirror our actions. Our results always mirror our actions. Successful actions will always give you successful results. In other words, you reap what you sow. You want cassava, but you want sweet potatoes, but you plant cassava. Guess what? You're getting cassava. If you don't want cassava, don't plant cassava. Plant sweet potato. If you don't want cassava, but you want sweet potatoes, make sure you plant sweet potatoes. That is the success that you want. That is what you want to do. That's what you want to achieve in becoming the very best that you can ever be. So these are the things that you have to constantly focus on, my friends, when it comes to having a successful life. A realization that it is our actions that really matters. It is our actions that determines our success. It is our actions that are going to help us take our lives to the next level. It is our actions that are going to bring about the results that we want in the future. It is the actions that we've taken in the past that has given us the results that we're getting today. So that automatically tells us what? If we want different results, we have to take different actions. Insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting a different outcome. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you keep getting what you're getting. There's so many things that are missing in our lives. There's so many things that we do not have. There's so many things that we would like to have, but we don't have now. And there's so many things that we have right now that will aid us in our success, but we don't have them anymore. Are we doing everything that we can ever do to achieve? I look at where I am today. When I left university, finding the work I want, the job I wanted in the career I wanted was very difficult. The UK, I just come out of an economic recession. Jobs were few and far between. It was difficult, it's hard, but I had to adjust. I had to be resourceful. What else is going to get me where I want to be? So I became resourceful. I joined the National Health Service and said, you know what? Before I get to work in the human resources, I'm going to work in the outpatient department. I'm going to study this industry. I'm going to study this industry. I'm going to know this industry better than anyone else. That there's going to come a point where people will ask me questions. I'll know what happens everywhere. I work in human resources today, but I know what goes on. I know what needs to be done there. People ring me to ask me for questions because at some point at 23, 24, 23 years old, I made a decision that I was going to study the industry, not look at the fact that there was no jobs in the HR department. I looked at the fact that I can study a lot of other things and make me a strong candidate later on. I became resourceful. And these, my friends, are the things that I want you to focus on. Let us not just focus on the things that are missing. Let's not focus on the things that we don't have. Let us not focus on the things that are lacking in our economy. Let us focus on how we can be resourceful, how we can become the champions of change in our country, how we can be the men and the women who say, no matter how difficult things are, we will change. We will change our lives into for a better. And in the spirit of changing our lives for the better, we all got wonderful stories. And the thing that we need to do is really working on ourselves, working on developing ourselves, making sure that we are changing inwardly. Every single time we wake up, we're doing something. Remember, as I've said, you don't get in life what you want, you do. You get in life what you do on a consistent basis. And every single day we wake up, we're doing the very thing that will help us transform our lives to the better. That every day we wake up, we're doing the things that will ensure that we see success, we see change, we really multiply our potential and take our lives to a new level. So these are the things that so many of us just simply never focus on. And so many people miss out on wonderful things simply because working on ourselves, working on developing ourselves, simply because they're just not resourceful enough. They think so much about what is missing. They think so much about what they don't have. They think so much about the things that are not working in their lives. Let us focus on really bringing change, wonderful change in our lives that will bring a wonderful future for you and for me. And let us carry on developing this skill every day of our lives. And in all that we do, and in a spirit of giving up, in spirit of sharing, I understand there are probably going to be some people back home who um, would like a copy of my next book. I sent a few books last time of my first book, Arise and Shine, back home, and a few people received them. We're quite grateful about them. And in a spirit of giving and in a spirit of giving, I also would like so many people back home who might not have access, many people might not have resources to be able to have access to my work and to be able to read and to be able to see what they can do and how they can change their lives and what can inspire them to become the very best in all that they can do. So, in the spirit of giving, in the spirit of giving, if you go to my page, if you go to my page, author Frank Saliki. If you go to my Facebook page, author Frank Saliki. Whenever I do this, for some reason, people come to my personal my personal Facebook profile. No, go to my author page, click like, share the page, share whatever videos you want to share on there. Send me a message. Send me a message, and everybody who sends me a message, I will write the names down, I'll put them in the little bowl, and I will draw two names out to give you a chance to people back home to be able to be part of this wonderful story, to be able to be part of this movement of motivation, a movement of encouragement, a movement of resourcefulness to do better. So if you go to my page, author Frank Saliki, like the page, send me a message. Author Frank Saliki, like the page, send me a message, and I've got two copies. I will draw out names. I've got two copies of Finding Your Voice. 2 copies of Finding Your Voice to help you really find your true calling in your life, in everything that you do. So if you go author Frank Saliki, there you and you send me a message, I will put some names in a ball. I will draw some names out, and I will contact the winners. And I will post to them. I will contact the winners and ask them for details, and I will post a copy uh, of Finding Your Voice. So these 2 copies will be going to Zambia. These 2 copies will be going to Zambia only because I know it's very difficult for some people to be able to have a copy. But I think in Finding Your Voice, I've got a strong message that I want the world to hear. I want the world to know. I want the world to know how great they can be in everything that they do. So that I will be giving away 2 copies of Finding Your Voice. And I think it's an inspirational read. I've shared some wonderful stories, some wonderful lessons that will transform your life. And in conclusion, my friends, it's important to know that we've all got something special. We've all got a talent. We're all gifted in one way or another, and we can transform our lives for the better. That where we've come from should never ever dictate what we can be. So many people think if they're because they were born in a poor family, they're going to they're going to die poor. They can't do anything more. Yes, it's tough when you're looking around, when you're living around and things are falling apart. It's tough when you're looking around and you're thinking, I haven't got school fees for next semester. Yes, it's tough. We don't ignore that. But that is not a reason. That's not an excuse to give up. Stop looking for excuses in life and start looking for reasons why you can succeed in every area of your life. Make sure that you're following your dream. Make sure you're doing the things that you can do. Make sure that you're waking up every single day, developing that skill. Make sure that you're being resourceful on a consistent basis. That whenever things are tough, you're saying, you know what, things may be tough, but I will be resourceful. I will wake up every single day and do the things that I can do. We fail in life not because of things that we cannot do. We fail in life because most of the time we don't do the things that we can do. So many times people look at their resources or the lack of it, and they think they can't do anything special. It's not the lack of resources. It's a lack of resourcefulness that holds us from being successful. It's not where you've come from that is going to determine your success, but it's what actions that you take. I never knew I could be doing the things I do today. I never knew I could have achieved the things I can achieve today. 10 years. 10 years ago, if somebody said you'd be an author, I probably would have laughed. 10 years ago, if somebody said you'd be an author of 2 books with a 3rd one nearly complete, I would have sat on the floor and laughed because I never really saw myself doing the things that I do. But if somebody could have said to me 10 years ago that in 7 years from now you'd win a Toastmaster speech contest, that you would be speaking against experienced speakers and win, I would have laughed. In all that you do, make sure that you give your dream a chance. You wake up every single day and say, it doesn't matter where I've come from. What matters is where I am going. It doesn't matter what I don't have. What matters is what I can do despite what I don't have. And make sure we ask this wonderful question every single day. How resourceful am I? Successful people with resources, fail in life. And some people without resources succeed simply because one is not resourceful enough and the other is resourceful. Go and live your dream. You were born to win. God bless you. God bless our country, and God bless your dream.